I wasn't born into money. My childhood was a blur of rented apartments, second-hand books, and dreams I had no business dreaming. But I had a mind that wouldn't quit and a work ethic fueled by necessity. By the time I was 24, I'd coded my way through MIT, slept under my desk for 2 years, and finally hit on an idea that would change everything. Chrysalis wasn't just a startup, it was a revolution. AI-assisted cybersecurity, 5 years ahead of the market. By 30, I was being interviewed by Forbes, hounded by investors, and quietly named one of the youngest billionaires in North America. But all of that, the awards, the money, the name, none of it came close to Kiera. My sister was everything to me. We lost our parents in a car accident when I was 25 and she was just 19. I still remember that phone call. The silence that followed it. The way she folded into me at the funeral and said, "You're all I have now." I made her a promise that day that I'd never let anything touch her again. I bought her a brownstone in Brooklyn, paid for her college, and shielded her from every ugly thing that came with my life. Which is why, when she first brought Ethan home, I didn't like him. There was something too polished about him. Too calculated. He was charming, yes. Made eye contact like he'd rehearsed it. Laughed on cue. Had just enough backstory to be interesting. Raised by a single mom. Worked his way through community college. Self-made sales guy. I shook his hand the first time and felt nothing. Not warmth. Not honesty. Just a cold, measured grip. Kiera was smitten. I could see it in the way her voice softened around him, the way her eyes lit up. It made me wary, but I held back. She deserved happiness, and maybe I was just being overprotective. Still, I ran a background check on him. Nothing came up. No red flags. Just a few job switches, typical for someone in sales. A quiet social profile. That was almost more suspicious, but I had no proof. Then came the night he proposed. We were all at my house, celebrating Chrysalis's 3rd year of profitability. Investors, engineers, friends. Ethan got down on one knee in front of everyone, held up a ring, and Kiera gasped like her lungs had collapsed. I smiled, hugged them both, raised a toast. But something coiled in my gut and stayed there. It was 2 months after the engagement that things began to go wrong. It started with a failed product leak. A feature we'd been building for 9 months somehow got leaked and reverse-engineered by a rival startup. The breach was precise, only someone with internal access could have known where to look. We launched an investigation but found no trail. Then came the VC sabotage. A key investor pulled out days before Series D, citing rumors that our back-end tech was unstable. It wasn't. We had documentation, tests, even a third-party audit. But somehow, someone had planted enough doubt to spook them. The worst part? Ethan was suddenly interested in my company. He asked questions at dinner, talked about pivot strategies, even joked about joining the empire. I laughed it off, but inside I was screaming. He was inching closer. I asked Kiera if he ever talked about work. She shook her head, annoyed. Why are you being like this? He loves me, okay? You can't protect me from everything. It hurt, because she was right. But it also hurt because I was beginning to see the outlines of a lie I couldn't yet prove. Then came the night I caught him. It was nearly midnight. I'd left my office laptop at home and drove back to grab it. As I entered the brownstone, I saw light spilling from Kiera's study. I crept up quietly, expecting her. But it was Ethan. Alone. At her desk. Using her laptop. I watched from the shadow of the hallway as he inserted a USB drive and copied folders. I couldn't see what, but I didn't have to. When he turned around and saw me, his face didn't even register guilt. Just calculation. Hey man, didn't know you were coming by. What are you doing? I asked. He smiled. Just sending something to myself. Kiera said I could use her laptop. You're copying files. He tilted his head. I think you're misunderstanding. I stepped closer. Are you spying on me? He looked at me for a long second. Then he pulled the USB out calmly and said, Don't be paranoid, Dev. The next morning, I told Kiera everything. She didn't believe me. She said I was threatened by her fiancé, that I couldn't stand someone else being important to her, that I was projecting. It broke me. I showed her the security cam footage from the hallway, but she said it proved nothing. He could have been working on something for her. I launched a private investigation behind her back, traced Ethan's movements, dug deeper, and that's when the truth exploded in my face. Ethan wasn't Ethan. His real name was Rohan Mistry. He'd worked under an alias for years, jumping between startups, charming his way into key roles, and siphoning insider information. He was linked to Argon Tech, our biggest competitor, through a shell company. They had been recruiting moles to sabotage competition. I had all the proof. Emails, financial records, surveillance. And I had a choice. If I exposed him, Kiera would be shattered. She still believed in him. She was planning their wedding. She'd already bought the dress. But if I did nothing, I'd lose everything I'd built, and the sister I swore to protect. So I brought it all to her. Laid it bare. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just sat on the couch for hours, staring at the wall. When she finally spoke, her voice was flat. I knew something was wrong, but I wanted to believe, for once, that someone loved me for me. I put my arm around her, and she didn't push me away. Together, we set the trap. We invited Ethan to a dinner, just the three of us. Kiera acted like nothing had changed. Told him she wanted to move the wedding up, that she wanted him closer to the family business. He took the bait. The next day, while he was accessing a fake server we'd rigged, we called the feds. He was arrested on charges of corporate espionage, wire fraud, and identity theft. The look on his face when they cuffed him wasn't surprise. It was annoyance, like a chess move had backfired. Kiera didn't go to the hearing. She moved in with me for a few months. We went back to the basics, late-night movies, walks in Central Park, pancakes at 2 a.m. She was hurt, but not broken. And I was reminded again that the world will always come for what you love most. That betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes, it sleeps in your guest room. I've rebuilt. So has she. Chrysalis is stronger than ever, with new protocols and a tighter circle. But I still double-lock the door. Not out of fear. Out of memory. Because the worst kind of enemy is the one who uses love as their weapon. And I'll never let that happen again. Subscribe now and never miss out.